The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving takes the work out of being behind the wheel, allowing you to relax and reconnect, while also staying in control. Enjoy the drive in Blue Cruise-enabled vehicles like the F-150, Explorer, and Mustang Mach-E. Available feature on equipped vehicles. Terms apply. Does not replace safe driving. See Ford.com/Blue Cruise for more details.
This is Optimal Work Daily. User Growth and Engagement, a Hacker Metric, Part 2, by Nir Eyal of nirandfar.com. User Engagement as Advantage. As opposed to distribution channels, the mechanics driving user engagement do not follow a power law. In fact, it is the nuances of user behavior that make the competition irrelevant, just as it did in the case of Facebook's early rivals. Discovering non-obvious user needs and creating accompanying habits is accomplished through deep observation grounded in solid behavioral theory, followed by methodical trial and error. It takes time to create new habits, and getting the user to act the way you'd hoped is accomplished by uncovering 1,000 tiny insights into the user's psyche. The process of uncovering latent needs is characterized by understanding more about users than they know about themselves. The distribution strategy will always be obvious, but the behavioral insights are important secrets that can only be discovered through rigorous testing. Zynga had one obvious way to acquire users, namely Facebook ads, but the company has a cadre of behavioral insights it uses to craft addictive games. It collects terabytes of information daily to alter game dynamics to boost user engagement. Quora primarily drives users to its site through Google search traffic, but the conjecture about all the reasons why the service is so sticky spills over a long question thread. Instagram posted images to Twitter and Facebook to drive user acquisition, placing its user growth strategy in plain sight. However, the founders, one of whom studied psychology as a symbolic systems major at Stanford, acquired a deep understanding of what makes users tick and click. But why can't behavioral design be copied like a distribution strategy? Because competitors are not able to recognize and act upon these kinds of insights. You can know the competition's product feels better to use, but you won't know why. Engaging products gain their advantages by leveraging tiny improvements, which together create huge advantage. From the outside, you can't tell what's working and what isn't. For example, the iPhone is objectively a better designed, more user-friendly, and ultimately more engaging product than the Android experience. But why? Nearly everyone, when given the choice between an Android interface and an iPhone, chooses the iPhone. There are plenty of good reasons to own an Android, but intuitive interface ain't one. Google knows this, and yet they can't replicate Apple because they don't know the answer to why. You can't make decisions between seemingly identical interface choices unless you've walked the path of user behavior. Without this knowledge, copying the competition becomes a game of throwing darts at features. Habit design requires a fundamentally different, though complementary, skill set to growth hacking. Designing high-engagement products is an art, which is increasingly becoming a science. The craft crosses the disciplines of psychology and design, both fields which are hard to learn in a short period of time. Unfortunately, designing habits often falls in the organizational abyss between the founder's vision and what is technically feasible. But those companies able to habituate users quickly enjoy massive advantages. Not only does engagement drive user growth for the reasons stated above, but users tend to shut out other, sometimes superior solutions. In fact, business history is peppered with technically inferior products beating competitors because of the fierce loyalty of habituated users. I'm looking at you, Apple addicts. Users only have time and brain cycles for a limited number of services. If a high proportion of users are using your service daily, they aren't using the competition's. Can't have one without the other. But focusing on user engagement without user growth is also a losing proposition. For one, virality is not something that can be bolted onto a product after it is in the wild. Distribution is not an afterthought, and it needs to be built into the core of the experience. Either the company has a viral user growth mechanic or it doesn't. So no matter how engaging your service is, it will remain niche unless there is a way to get it in front of new users en masse. Creating a company with both high user engagement and high user growth requires a sound distribution engine fueled by active users. Both user engagement and user growth are essential to a company's viability, and by adhering to the Tao of DAU and MAU, founders have an accurate point of focus to increase their odds of success. You just listened to part 2 of the post titled User Growth and Engagement, a Hacker Metric by Nir Eyal of nirandfar.com.
So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off Vince, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Because there's always something new.
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock exclusive discounts on your favorite brands. Shop new arrivals first and more. Plus, get an extra 5% off every Rack purchase with a Nordstrom credit card. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
And thank you again to Nir. His name and site, by the way, are spelled N-I-R. And as I mentioned after yesterday's post, he's the author of a popular book called Indistractable. And if you visit his site, you can get his 80-page Indistractable workbook completely free just by joining his email list. And again, that is at nirandfar.com. Note that Nir is spelled N-I-R, just like his name. So definitely check that out when you have a chance. It helps Nir out, and it helps us out as well. But that is going to do it for today. I thank you for being here with me through the weekend, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow for the Monday show. And that is where your optimal life awaits.